Hi, it's Ollie Epsom here, back in the lab, and it's the middle of December. It's actually the 12th of the 12th, 2017. Temperature this morning outside was about -5 Celsius, so it's a little bit chilly, hence why I'm indoors. So the last video I showed the first round of the electric outboard motor that I've been working on. Since then, I had hoped to test it on the canal out the back of the house, but to be honest, it's been frozen solid and I'm not configured for ice breaking. So I have been working on the computer control system and a couple of other aspects of it, and also been dealing with a few other projects, mainly just volunteering with kids and stuff. So I haven't had a lot of time, but let's take a look at what we've got. So here we are. We have obviously set up for prototyping at the moment. Basically got the motor here. I have removed the propeller, which is here, because in the environment I'm working in at the moment, I didn't want to kill myself. Now, since we've last spoken, the mechanics look very similar. That's because I haven't really touched them, haven't had time. I've got some fiberglass in, etc., to build a housing around that, but haven't done it yet. I've also got a new toy, which is this picoscope, which is a USB oscilloscope, which has been an absolute godsend. What I have done is taken apart the controller, figured out how that worked, figured out how to integrate it here into this Arduino, and also built a low-pass filter and a relay system, and used this Nextion touch display. So, why bother with all that? Let's take another look. So when I ran this the last time, basically this throttle here went directly as a potentiometer into this controller and then sent the three-phase output to the brushless DC motor. Since then, what I've done is I've essentially hijacked this, and now all commands to the motor controller go via the Arduino, and I've also linked in this Nextion touchscreen display as well to the Arduino. Now, the way I do that is the Arduino gives a pulse width modulated output, which is, in analog terms, it's from 0 to 5 volts, but of course it's at, I think it's 500 kilohertz. So what I've done is I built a small low-pass filter in there, just a very, very simple circuit, resistor capacitor, that smooths the output of that to a true analog signal, which is then just fed into that controller there. From that controller, I've taken one of the Hall effect sensors from the brushless motor, and that allows me to sense the speed, although unfortunately at the moment it's not working the best. If we press the home button here first, when you turn the system on, this is the display you're going to see. So we've got 50 volts there from the battery pack, 0 amps. We've got a throttle demand. Now if I turn the throttle, we'll see that the demand moving, and we've got the current here and the speed. Now unfortunately I've got some minor software glitch in the speed at the moment, so we'll take you through that later. Various functions on the display. We press dim, obviously we can dim it, and then brighten, we can brighten the display. So obviously all this will be enclosed, but when you turn the display on, you're going to see this. So if we go to, first thing we'll see, if we twist here, we got nothing, okay? And that's because somebody needs to enter the key code. So if I go key, and I enter the key code, I don't mind showing you what it is because I'm going to change it anyway, but it's 1769, press lock. And if I've done that right, except I haven't, because that's not what the code is, because it's not my deliberate mistake. It's actually 1679. Press unlock. That turns green. Press home. We can now drive. Okay. So that's that. The other thing we can do is if we want to lock it again, we just press lock, and now we can't drive. So if we want to leave the motor, we can just lock it really easily. So we'll go here again, 1769, unlock, and then we lock. Now, what we then have is the mode button. Now, obviously, ultimately, this is going to be fully remote controlled, but at the moment, I've just got the first two modes working. So, we click the switch, and if we keep clicking, we flick through the various modes. So, at the moment, we've only got local and touch mode. So, touch mode, we have this slider here. Now, we'll see it's in astern, and there we go ahead. And we can really creep it in this mode, which is the advantage. So it's essentially a cruise control mode, really, that we'll just use for, you know, when I'm too lazy to hold the throttle open, basically. Now, what you'll notice is I've also... So when I'm in touch control mode, I can do what I like here over on the throttle, and absolutely nothing happens because this is the mode we're in. Now, I've got software in there which handles reverse directioning. So if I in the ahead mode and I press astern, the motor will automatically stop and then ramp up in the opposite direction. Now, because I have described this to you, that has not worked. There is a cunning reason for this. The reason is I've got the maps different in astern mode. So if I give it a bit more power and then press direction change, it automatically does it. Do it again. And there we go. If we press stop, everything stops. Now there's a reason for that, and that is because I have put more gentle mapping in the astern way. So, where was I going? So, the reason I have put different throttle maps in for forwards and backwards is because this outboard that I've based it on is a really old model, and it didn't originally have a reverse gear, meaning there's no thrust bearing, and also the gears are helically cut only to go ahead, so that's why it rattles a bit in the astern mode. So essentially what I've done is I've put a gentler throttle map in for backwards, so the power's really cut. So what you saw there when I automatically changed from forward to ahead was the power setting was too low for it actually to move in, the throttle demand rather was too low for it to move astern because the maps were different. I'll obviously tweak that a bit once we're underway. There's still quite a bit still to do, I mean, especially the actual mechanical covers for this and everything, but to be honest, it's winter, so I'm not in a position to test it much anyway. So yeah, we'll keep you abreast of how I get on with it. Thanks very much for watching, and obviously, as ever, if you've got any questions, give us a shout below.